Hey guys, I'm Harvin. Welcome back to our channel, The Geek Street, where the street speaks. And if you guys do not know, we are avid Marvel, DC, and Star Wars fans, and many other franchises. And we do content such as explainers, discussions, theories, and breakdowns, and many other fanboy moments. So please do not forget to catch our videos, and also please do not forget to subscribe and like to our videos and hit the bell icon so whenever we do our contents you can receive the notification so you can watch our videos immediately. And also don't forget to comment on the sections below and tell us how you feel, or tell us what is the contents that you would want us to cover so we can cover it. We have the knowledge and whatsoever, we can definitely do all those kinds of contents. So please do not forget to do all those. And we are back here for Loki season 2 episode 3. Anyways, before we move on to whatever I have to say, spoiler alert, major spoiler alert. So if you haven't watched Loki episode 3 yet, please go back and watch Loki episode 3 and come back here and watch this video so you can get to know better what's going on. Okay, so spoiler alert, I'll give you a few moments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you done? Okay, let's move on to Loki season 2 episode 3. Okay, so my review on Loki season 2 episode 3 is basically, for me, it felt like a filler episode, but it was an important one because it's very crucial. It's a moving plotline, of course, but it's crucial to a character in this particular episode. So we get to know more about this character, and of course all the other characters which we finally get to see after season 1. So we have to see what's going on. I'll explain to you guys what's going on. And of course, first of all, the title of the episode is 1893 because the whole scenario of this episode is going on in that particular era. So and then okay, so let's start off with the beginning of the episode. The beginning of the episode, of course, the Marvel intro. And of course, this Marvel intro is a normal Marvel intro for the Loki episodes, and it has the classic theme intro because it's happening in the 1893 era. So it has that music on from that era. And then we see in the particular scene, we see Renslayer portal to Chicago, Illinois in 1868. And of course, it shows that sacred timeline. Okay, so Renslayer we are seeing for the very first time in this season. After she was from season 1, she goes through the time door. So now we know where she ended up in. She ended up in Chicago, Illinois, 1868. And it shows that the sacred timeline. So it's practically the timeline where he who remains created or weaved in to protect the whole multiverse timeline. So we see her there, and of course we see her with Miss Minutes because we know Miss Minutes has been helping her from season 1, and also in season 2 we get to know with Casey telling to Loki and all of them that Ravonna, Renslayer's tempad, you can see Miss Minutes is helping her to jump from the timelines. And then we see Miss Minutes instructs Renslayer to place the TVA guidebook, which you see in the previous episodes. You see Obi Ouroboros. He's the one who wrote the whole guidebook, right? So that particular guidebook, she needs to place it in this particular house. And this particular house is actually a variant of young He Who Remains, but it's a variant of He Who Remains, not the actual He Who Remains which we saw from season 1. And because it was said to Miss Minutes by He Who Remains that this is a contingency plan. Okay, if anything goes sideways, this is the plan. And so we don't know what's going to happen, what's the whole grand plan of it all as it goes. So this is the plan. And of course, in this particular era, we do see Miss Minutes turn into, from her orange color, how she looks like, she turns into the black and white, of course, so to blend into that particular era. And then one thing we need to note is that in the comics, Kang, all the versions of Kang, they come from the 30th century, so in the distant future, like all of them and all of the variants in the beginning of their life. And then from then they go back to the past to use the time travel device to go back to the past and mess with the timeline and sort. So this is the very first time from the change of the comics we are seeing a variant of Kang, but who has been in the distant past, not so distant, in 1868, in that era. So that's a change in the comic book. So that is one, and then we see from there Loki, and because Casey, remember from the previous episode, they said that they got a hit from where Renslayer should be. So Loki and Mobius, first they go to 1868 where Renslayer was, but apparently in the tempad that they found, she went to the different timeline, 1868 and also to 1893, just a few years later. So they went to 1868 and then they portal through to 1893. And once they enter that particular era, it also says that branch timeline. So I presume that Renslayer placing that particular guidebook changed that particular variant of Kang or He Who Remains to be different in that particular timeline. So that's the whole grand plan of Kang, maybe. So as it goes, we will know what's going on. And then we see so the Loki and Mobius looking for Renslayer and also probably Miss Minutes. And then after that we see there's this newspaper which Loki gets, and then it says that it's Miss Minutes there. It says Ghost Clock, so probably Miss Minutes around there. She did in that particular timeline. She did something, and she popped on a newspaper. So they know that it's confirmed that Renslayer and Miss Minutes are here. So they move forward, and then after that you see this particular thing as Mobius and Loki are walking. You see this particular transition where the whole thing goes into a circle, like a clock. It's a circle. Basically, it captures Loki and Mobius. So it's just like a reference to probably a transition which is mostly used in that era of filming or whatnot, and also definitely a nod to Star Wars, because Star Wars always use that particular transition. So that, and then of course as they Loki and Mobius going around in that event, they see this particular statue of Thor, Odin, and also Balder. So Balder the Brave. Okay, so a little bit of Balder the Brave. Balder the Brave in the comics is actually a Thor's brother in the comics. So he was in the comics for a good long while, but never been introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But he was supposed to appear in Multiverse of Madness. There were plans to appear, and they even casted Daniel Craig. If you guys know, he was the most recent James Bond. So he was supposedly casted as Balder the Brave to be in Multiverse of Madness, and I think apparently Balder was supposed to be in the first Thor movie because they wanted to include that particular character. But I think from what I read, the producers didn't want that because there were too many characters, so they didn't want that particular character to be involved in the whole storyline. So that was that. And then so apparently I think it's also something to note that in this particular timeline, in this whole timeline, Odin did not save Loki. So because as we guys know from the MCU, Odin did save Loki from the frost giants, and then adopted him, and then he became the adopted son. So in this timeline, so Loki was not there, and then you see this particular scene where Loki stares at Thor's statue for a good long while, like with emotion. So I think it shows that he misses his brother so much, and also he says that Loki is not that tall. So yeah, we can still see the mischievousness in him. But it also will be really cool that Loki now he has his own storyline with this whole multiverse going on. So this whole Loki episodes is very crucial to the whole multiverse plot. It'll be very cool to see where Thor and Loki reunite, but not until Avengers Kang Dynasty and also probably Avengers Secret Wars. That'll be really cool. A very, very emotional and cool reunion. And it'll be even cool that Loki would be the one who was a villain to all the Avengers in the first movie. So it'll be really cool that he's the one to come and pass the message to the Avengers that Kang is coming, some sort. So it'll be really cool to see that because he has redeemed himself. He's becoming more of a hero. So it'll be really cool for that to happen. And then we see, for the first time, we see the Victor Timely character. So the Victor Timely character, he is a Kang variant from the comics. He's a Kang variant, but the thing is, in the comics, that Kang from the distant future, he came into the past and became the Victor Timely persona. But here, instead, that this particular variant, he has been born in that particular era, and his name is Victor Timely. So that's the change from what they are doing. And then you see that particular scene is that in Victor Timely is doing like a presentation of his version of the temporal loom. So how did he create all this temporal loom and this tech showing off to all those people is because of what Renslayer did in 1968. So because she passed the TV handbook, so he got all the and from what in the episode it shows that Victor Timely, when he was young, it shows a scene that he was working on something when he was a young boy. So it shows that he is a very bright kid and will grow up to be one of the greatest scientists or whatsoever. So this guidebook literally helped him evolve even more on his thoughts and to build more tech. Then you will see that this particular whole scene is actually they took it from the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania post-credit scene. So it's the same post-credit scene from which they placed from Loki into the post-credit scene. So this is what we are getting now. So this is the whole scene, and then we see Victor Timely explaining about the temporal loom. It's a prototype in the presentation. Then after it, we see Loki is there, Renslayer is there, Mobius, they're all looking at him, what's the plan to do next. And then Victor, you see he beats with a guy named Robber Baron. So I think he's practically like a rich guy there. So he wants his Victor Timely's tech. Then you see actually Victor kind of like planned with another random guy to bid across so that Robert Baron also will bid to the higher price so they can get. So practically Victor Timely gave that guy a tip for helping him. And then you see Victor Timely running away kind of thing because what happens is that the prototype was a bust. So Robert Baron and his henchmen were going after Victor Timely, and then you see Loki, Mobius and Renslayer all just going after Victor Timely to get him. And then you see Loki using his powers with a particular guy who had the bar. So he just snaps his finger and then he just goes missing. But then he ends up in like a pig cage or something like that. But here's the question though, like at times I feel like Loki has all these powers, but when you see in the first Avengers movie, I feel like he did not use where were all his powers at that point of time. So I mean, of course, as you go, you develop the character even more, and then you show off these powers. So it's just a matter of that thought that he can make them disappear or make them move to somewhere else with just a snap of a finger. Why couldn't he do it back then in the Avengers movie with all the Avengers? Just a thought. But of course, I know this is all. At that moment, they were having a totally different script and story for that character. So now they're moving forward. So of course, there's a difference there. Then after it, you see Renslayer, Loki, and Mobius literally like capture Victor Timely. Victor Timely is so blurred out. Like, who are you guys? What's going on and everything? And they all just want to grab him and go and do their own plans. And after you see this, as they are walking, and then you see a councilman comes approach to Victor Timely stating that his electric trousers, which was given by Victor Timely to make him look taller, is not working. So and it's actually a reference to Stiltman, because in the comics Stiltman, because that particular machine, it looks like a stilt. So it's just probably just a reference or a nod to Stillman. Of course, that the trousers, we do see that different trousers, but that concept we do see in the Netflix Daredevil series, the Stillman trousers, we do see that there. And then as they are going and you know, this whole hassle going on, they are going after Victor Timely, the henchman and everyone. Victor actually hides at a ancient Egypt exhibition. So it's just, this is another nod that there is a Ramathat version of Kang. Of course, we did see that in the Ant-Man post-credit scene. So the Ramathat version. So it's just a nod to that. And then we see Sylvie appears in the episode, you know, because she has got her thinking. In the previous episode, Loki explains that you know, we need and the temporal aura of a Kang variant to fix the temporal loop and, you know, all these things. So probably Sylvie thinks that if they're going to go after another version of variant to help them with this temporal loop, she needs to kill, because of course what she went through, that trauma she went through with He Who Remains, having this whole temporal loop plot line and everything. So they have to prune. So practically Sylvie was not meant to be in the timeline, so they had to prune her and everything. So she just wants to kill every version of Kang, I guess. Then we see this conversation between Loki and Sylvie, very intense, that Loki wants to save Victor so that they can fix the temporal loom, and Sylvie just wants to kill him. So the intense interaction. So it's the same. It's like the scene is like a mirror scene of what happened in Loki season 2, the finale, where Sylvie wants to kill He Who Remains and Loki stops her. So it's just a mirror of that. And then you also see Renslayer and Mobius having a conversation, because at this particular thing, so there is a cut in between a lot of scenes. So so as I'm explaining, you see Renslayer and Mobius are having a conversation down, because Loki, Sylvie and Victor are inside the Ferris wheel, so they are up top. Then you see Renslayer and Mobius having a conversation, that Mobius telling her that you need to come and help us with this and everything, and Renslayer definitely neglects it. She doesn't want all this. So it was intense, more character depth for Renslayer. And then you see Miss Minutes turns into a big diversion, so that everyone scatters around, and finally Victor and Renslayer and also Miss Minutes, they escape from there, and they go to Victor's house. And of course, when you enter his house, you can see a few of his invention there in his house. You can see that he has done a few inventions. You can see that he's a very bright man. And also, I literally like this part from the episode where he literally built a cushion where you can have your beer stuffed inside the fridge. So I think it's pretty cool. I think I would want that, so I can just have for the cushion. That so whenever I want to drink my beer, I can just take from the cushion. It's cool, like just drink and have a good time. So that was pretty cool. And then so in this particular scene, we see Miss Minutes and Renslayer explaining to Victor Timely about his variant, which is He Who Remains, and who he is actually, and all those. So Miss Minutes gave her backstory, like she's an AI created before the multiverse war by He Who Remains, but it was more like for some games, like chess games or something, like just more like built to like a helper, mini helper kind of thing. Nothing big was on Victor on He Who Remains mind at that moment, I guess. And then you see that when Renslayer and Victor are having a conversation, you can actually see Miss Minutes coming in between them, distracting the conversation. So it was very weird at that particular moment. For the first time, it's a very weird thing to do from Miss Minutes. So you can see there was a little bit jealousy kind of thing over there, because we do know that Renslayer and Kang from the comics, they do have like a intense relationship kind of thing. I mean, they did not like love each other kind of thing, but they were really close, really really close. And then at this moment, they want to escape from the house to go to Victor's lab. So he says he has to get to his lab in Wisconsin. So this is another reference as a Kang in the comics, a Kang variant goes back to the past as a Victor Timely character, as I explained earlier, and he created a town called Timely, Wisconsin, and also that is where he became a ruler and created the Chronopolis, and which is actually a version of TVA now, which is like a version of Chronopolis, which is a version of TVA now in the MCU. And also, supposedly, he is the Prime Kang, like the ultimate Kang in the comics, the Victor Timely character. So, well, we see what's going to happen moving forward with this whole plot line. Okay, then we see Renslayer and Victor aboard a steamship, and then they have a conversation, and then Victor Timely explained to him about the guidebook, helped him a lot to grow his thoughts and minds to do more technology. And then he shows there is a picture of Obi Ouroboros, which is like a thing which is probably is like his admiration towards him. And then what I want to state about this, that probably in the next episode, because I mean we'll come to the ending, but I think in the trailers of all we see Obi fantasizes when he sees someone. So probably that's Victor Timely, because I think Victor Timely will end up helping them with the temporal loop. And then at this particular moment when Victor feels the closeness towards Renslayer, I think Renslayer kind of backs out, because she knows that this is not the actual He Who Remains. This is a variant of him. So she just wants to go along with the plan. And then you see at this particular moment, Miss Minutes makes use of this, and while Renslayer is sleeping on the safe boat, it literally drops into the sea, and Miss Minutes and Kang, they move forward to go to their lab, leaving Renslayer behind. And then Victor arrives at his lab, and when you enter his lab, you can see that there is a lot of prototype. You can actually see a temporal loom prototype as well, another one. And then he shows this one particular device. He says that it's his culmination of his work's life. It's like probably it's like an amplifier. I think that's the device which is going to help to fix the temporal loop. So probably is that, if not, it would not be so intensified during the whole scene with the background score and everything. So, and then after that we see Miss Minutes becoming more sinister and more how would I say, more demanding towards Victor Timely, in a way that it becomes understandable that she has feelings for him. So that's one. And she says that she has a self-programming AI, which is, if you think about it, she's actually going to be worse than AI such as Ultron or maybe Vision. Because if you guys see, if she's an AI who can control the whole multiverse, then of course she's the most baddest AI, and probably, like, you know, turning into a more overarching villain probably, but we'll get to that. Okay, so and then we see that the most important part of it is that she wants a body of her own. So I think that's what she's telling to Victor Timely, that she wants him to create her a body. And I think that's what happened, or maybe she was a little bit frustrated with the He Who Remains. I think she has feelings for him, but he would not create a body for her because he does not have any feelings for her, kind of thing. So that there is a frustration towards Miss Minutes. Okay, and then you see as she goes out of control. Victor clicks on the temp pad and she goes inside the temp pad. So she's inside the temp pad now. And then after you see Renslayer appears. Okay, this is the part where it felt like some comedic movie at a moment. Okay, so you see Renslayer appears with a prototype pruning device, but this is a huge prototype, of course, because it's built back then. Of course, now they have their wand, so this is a big one. And then we see Sylvie also appears. Like suddenly everyone starts appearing at the same destination. Sylvie appears. She wants to kill Victor Timely. And then after that we see Loki and Mobius also appears. So everyone in that moment, like everyone just literally jammed up in that location. Like there's no thought of how suddenly they got the idea to get to this place kind of thing. And then Sylvie is so determined to kill Victor Timely, and Victor Timely is explaining to her that I'm not that person, I'm not that, and you can see the emotion. So I think that's a giveaway for Sylvie that she did not want to kill him, because at the end she let Loki and Mobius take him into TVA, because they opened the time door and they were going inside the TVA. And then after that you see Sylvie confronting Renslayer, because she has a big beef with Renslayer, because Renslayer was the one who captured Sylvie when she was a kid into the TVA. So that was the whole intensity there, and she kicked Renslayer through the time door, and Renslayer ended up in the Citadel, the He Who Remains Citadel at the end of time. So and you see there that the whole Citadel is in bad shape. Actually, it's all crippling down. So I think this is the after effect of the whole timeline branching out. So you can see in the background as well. In the particularly, you can still see the timelines branching out. So and then you see Renslayer looking at He Who Remains body. Of course, I think after a while, Sylvie killing He Who Remains, he's still the same position, dead, but he's decayed. You know, like after a very long time, so his body is in decay. And then you see Renslayer and Miss Minutes are there, because at the end Renslayer got the time pad from Victor back, so they are inside the Citadel right now. So definitely they will have to come up with a big plan of how to move forward after this. What's their grand plan, how to get Victor Timely and proceed with their plan. But here's the thing, they have probably like a bigger advantage, because they are practically at the end of time, and it's the Void Planet. So if you guys know, the Void Planet was from season 1. If you guys see all the other versions of Loki and everyone is there. So the Void Planet is where the things that the TVA prunes, which they do not need, it's like a rubbish can where you throw everything there. You dump every single thing there. So maybe the worst people or worst versions of comic characters are all there. So you never know what are the surprises awaits in the Void Planet. What's the plan from Miss Minutes and Renslayer. So that is we'll see what's going on with that. And then of course, and in the particular Citadel, you see Miss Minutes telling to Renslayer that I have a secret to tell you, but it will piss you off big time. So we do not know what's the secret of, but my assumptions is it all got to do with her backstory and who she really is, because as we all know, in the TVA, whoever has been working there are actually people who have been pruned, and they wiped their mind and they started to work in the TVA. And of course it also states that the people who work in the TVA constantly gets their mind wiped, probably every 20 years or every 30 years. So the only person who has a lot of memory or the whole memory of the TVA is Ouroboros, because he said in episode 1, if you guys remember, he says that he's been there for over 400 years. So that is a very long time to know everything about the TVA. And then of course we do see Renslayer in the season 1 as a school teacher. So probably the backstory revolves around the school teacher, she being a school teacher and then getting pruned, so more in depth of of her character, maybe she also becomes an overarching villain of the season 2. So you never know what's the whole plot line is going to be. But here's the thing, Miss Minutes could also be the potential big bad of season 2, because you can see the intensity or the sinister of Miss Minutes in this whole episode. You can see, because she is in love with the He Who Remains, and she wants a body, and she wants it no matter what. And once she has a body, what can she do? As I said earlier, if Miss Minutes has a body and she can control time, the whole world will be in chaos. The whole multiverse will be in chaos. And so you don't know what holds for Renslayer and Miss Minutes. So probably both them can team up, become both big bads, or they are more like frenemies. They work with each other to make their goals meet. So here's the thing. So if Miss Minutes is like having feelings towards He Who Remains, you never know. Maybe she was the one who constantly wiped Renslayer's mind, because if you guys know, Renslayer is the one who helped He Who Remains to build the TVA, to build the whole Chronopolis version of the TVA and everything. So maybe they were getting very close, and at that time itself, Miss Minutes felt the jealousy towards it. So probably she wiped her mind, Renslayer's mind, and then convinced He Who Remains to create the timekeepers, and also convince him to build the Citadel and go to the end of time, so that he may not be close with Renslayer anymore. So probably Miss Minutes is the one who has the grand plan after all. So that's like the theory, like, so what's going to happen next kind of thing. And also not forgetting, we also have General Dogs. If you guys remember from episode 1 and also episode 2, she was very she has a sinister look as well, because she was very close with X5, Hunter X5, if you guys remember. Brad Wolf, that's the character who was practically a Xenia character from the comics. He was in episode 2. So you guys see, she got captured in episode 2. So don't know what's going on, because if you guys know that she's a well-known actress, she was from Game of Thrones. So why would you cast an actress such as her in Loki, and then like you use it just to get captured in episode 2? So definitely she would definitely play a role. We never know who she is. But the rumor is that, as I explained previously, that she is probably an older version of Sylvie. And of course, the next episode is practically Victor Timely helping them out in the TVA to fix the whole temporal loom. So that is going to be another whole episode plot. So we're going to see what's going to happen. So I'm pretty sure things is going to just get worse. So so that's how the whole Loki season is about. It's getting worse and worse, and reach the connecting dot to Avengers Kang Dynasty. So we just see what's going to happen for the next episode. So that is all for Loki episode 3. I really hope you guys like the content on the Easter eggs and references. And then please do not forget to like and subscribe to our videos. Please do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you can get the notification whenever we do our content, so you can watch our videos. Loki episode we'll be doing for the Marvels movie, explainer for that, and for the upcoming DC projects, Star Wars, and other franchises. So please do not forget to catch our videos. And also, please do share your thoughts in the comment section below, so you can let us know maybe if there is any other things that we missed out in the episodes, or our references or Easter eggs. Please do comment and let us know, so we can share and have our conversation and share our thoughts. Don't forget to follow us on our social handles such as Instagram, Threads, and Facebook at thegeekstreet.my or the Geek Street. We also have our own Discord community where we have fans all over joining in and theorizing, explaining about references, Easter eggs. Have discussions about what we are fans of, such as Marvel, DC, Star Wars, I know many other franchises, so you guys are always welcome. So the link is in the description below. So please don't forget to click on that so you can immediately enter the channel. And yeah, that's all for our episode for today. And we'll be covering the whole Loki season 2. So please do not forget to watch the next week's episode. And yeah, that's all from me. I'm Harvin. And this is the Geek Street, and the street has spoken. Ciao, guys.